Hey, welcome to the podcast. We've got special guest Josh Rademacher, Joe Burr in the house. Also,
Right.
Purdue Pete is in here with us.
Go Boilers.
Yep, and we got a new show sponsor, evidently, DraftKings. You want to tell us more about that, Dave?
Says Brittany Rademacher guest. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Does it say that?
The guy can't even sign in with his own.
I don't even have my own sign.
Hey, he made it.
Kevin's making fun of my hat because DraftKings sent me a hat and a shirt because I guess I'd spent enough money with them.
I gotta think that they do that for guys that lose a lot with them, right? They really appreciate
haven't.
you. No?
I'm just basically, I'm probably up, but not a lot.
All right.
But I've spent a lot.
Well, we begin each week of the show. Well, Josh, am I drinking alone tonight?
Well, I'm having. I'm drinking tea tonight. I didn't know you guys did this at 10 o'clock at night. I mean, I feel like I could go to bed right now.
I'm not sure. This must be Kevin's schedule. Last year, I think it was earlier.
10 o'clock.
Yeah, I've got teenagers. They're like up until 10 p.m. So it's like
they're probably not in bed yet.
Yeah.
I could do it anytime because my kids don't give a rip about me. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, we begin each week of the show. We begin each week with a segment from Miller Time Team of the Week, and so I'll turn it over to Dave. You want to give out your award?
So I'm not going with the low-hanging fruit, which would have been Rennie. It's him winning high points, beating, me. That's its own reward. I'm going with the guy I had faith in. Nobody else had faith in, and that's the Sundance Kid, beating Welcome to the Red Kingdom by 5 points on Monday Night Football, getting points from his kicker, and Adam getting, I think, a 0 spot from Allen Robinson. It was tight going in, and but I had faith in him, and he prevailed, and now his season is, I wouldn't say saved, but at least it's not totally ruined. 0-4 would have been tough.
Yeah.
But 1-3, when there's a lot of us at 2-2, he's right back in the thick of things. So good job, Brennan. Makes no difference that you guys had a side bet and he funneled that money my way. That was all on him. Had no bearing on who I picked this week.
Yeah.
Well,
I bet.
Yeah. Josh, when we do this, sometimes there's themes that arise. And so for the Hillbilly Harrison Hillbilly of the week,
okay,
I could have gone 2 different directions. Okay.
Yeah.
Danny had a chance to also turn his ship around, right?
Yeah.
Matt Stafford on Monday Night Football, you need 16 points and you get the dub, right?
Yeah.
And that, so again, I could have given it to Danny. That would have been super easy. But when you've got a guy who has a chance to go 4-0, he just needs to, score a few points and secure a lead. And this guy cost me $20. The Hillbilly of the Week goes to Adam. Now, Adam's mad. He's salty because he's like, in the power rankings, I wouldn't get. It's like, dude, when you lose a game like that, I mean, it was the storyline. We'd be like, oh, Adam's vulnerable. He doesn't score many points. Like, what's he going to do? And he's like, oh, I'm not getting the respect. I'd go out and beat Brennan. Go out, beat Brennan. I back you. I stand up. I stand up for you. I put money on the line. Like, goodness gracious.
I don't remember last year if we ever had both awards going to the same match.
We might have. I don't know. But what are your thoughts, Josh? Do you agree with these awards?
I agree. I look at myself. I was a little bit nervous, when you said themes and having guests on that, either the Hillbilly of the Week or the Miller Time Team of the Week. And I thought, I don't know how many people have had 2 in a row of either, right?
Yeah.
But I was afraid that I had a chance to get 2 in a row Hillbilly of the Week. So it's my fantasy season has not gone the way that I was thinking.
No, well, as bad as you feel internally about your week last week, there were two matchups, two guys that should feel worse. So I'll just say that.
Okay, deal.
Who's that? Who are the two?
Danny,
Oh,
Danny and Adam.
Danny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both stole losses out of the clutches of victory. Like, so,
These matchups.
yeah. So let's just real quick for the sake of everybody involved, let's run through the matchups. I'm sure Josh would like to forget all about them, but we'll run through the matchups really quick. So you mentioned it, Sundance versus Welcome to the Red Kingdom, decided on Monday Night Football. Allen Robinson ended up with 0.7. All right, for
Okay.
And Gay ended up with 9. So that was the difference.
Yeah.
Adam went into Monday night with a lead. Is that right? Like a small one.
He was down exactly 3.
Yeah.
So then that first field goal tied it.
Yeah.
And then not much else happened Adam's way.
And the loss won't kill Adam. You know what I mean? He's 3-1. He'll be fine. But it did salvage Brennan's season. He's got hope now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next one we've got is Double Check versus the Rat Trappers, and that one was over before it started. Dave, how do you feel? I mean, you scored 102, which is respectable, but Rennie never let off the gas.
I mean, I'm a little less sore that I left Penny on the bench because it was a coin flip between him and Robinson, because I got these second running backs that I'm just flipping a coin every week. So I went with him instead of Penny, but I would have still lost, getting 26 more points, and I still would have lost. So what can you do?
Would have given you a little bit more separation, though.
I've only lost to the number 1 team in the league and the number 2 team in the league. So, what can you do about that?
You're feeling good about yourself.
Although now I play somebody else that's like up there too. So, but no, I mean, Rennie, he up and down his lineup, scored a bunch of points. I ended up above 100, but I would have beat 6 other people. But you got to beat who you play.
Yeah. Now the next matchup, Vote Flex versus Polk High School. Josh, you can speak into this because you're one of Travis's closest and only friends in the league. Is he living right? What is happening with Travis here?
Yeah.
Well, I think he is. I think right now he's just living right. He got a 0 spot out of Chase Claypool. I'm pulling it up as well. So he got a 0 spot out of one of his receivers and still took away a victory from Danny.
He has scored almost no points the whole season. Yeah. And he's 3-1.
Yeah. I mean, the power rankings don't love him, but that doesn't matter. The rankings, the standings, he's doing just fine. He's 3-1. I don't know. I never thought of Travis as being a saintly guy, but he's got to be doing something right.
He must be. He is doing something right. All right. Yeah. He got his highest point scorer was his kicker.
Yeah. How do you do? I don't know how you.
And he won.
And he won.
And you get your
convincingly.
When you get your highest point score as your kicker and you take away the W, you got to be happy. You're feeling good about yourself.
Oh, Matt Stafford laid an egg.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So then we've got Off All Weekend versus the Lumberjacks, and I mean, is anybody fallen faster than Ed?
Yeah, I mean,
it's a tough draw. I mean, he's going to lose to Junior no matter what, but but Ed is quickly falling from graces, and I don't know what to do. Here's the thing about Junior. He's got his wide receivers, his running backs, his quarterback, those are all fine. The fact that he's been getting almost 20 a week out of his defense, and he gets double digits out of his kicker every week, his tight end scores 31. What do you do with that?
Yeah, you just keep rolling along is what you do. His head is going to get so big that it's not going to fit on the power rankings poster.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to have to widen that. because his head just keeps getting big.
I mean, it's surprising that he didn't score 150 or 160. In all honesty, like when you're looking at his lineup, like some of these guys that you would have thought, I mean,
he had three positions that really were duds, and if those guys do anything, like you said, he's up, he's high points, and he's 150.
It's really tough to find any negatives in his season. The only thing would be he's been in the running for high points, I think, pretty much at least 3 of the weeks,
yet,
and
right?
He hasn't gotten it.
Yeah. How do you have a season like he's having and you haven't gotten high points yet?
Yeah.
I mean, he leads the league in scoring.
I think every week he's been, other than the first week, and even the first week, I think, if you're paying attention while you're watching the games and looking at the projections, I think if I remember at one point, he probably was. But the last 3 weeks, it's like, if this happens, he's going to get high points. And then it just didn't quite happen.
Yep.
Let me quickly say, if you're in the high points running every week, like, you should be happy. Like, if you get to look at your score every week and be like, man, I almost had high points.
Yeah.
Like, let's take that as a positive, right?
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah. There's nobody happier than Junior right now. He lit. I mean, you know how like when the Bengals do really well in a game and you can't wait to turn on like Sports Center the next day or like tune into like the talk shows because you want to hear him. That's how Junior feels about the stuff Dave and I are putting out. He cannot wait to hear us talk about him. He's like, what's Kevin and Dave going to say about me this week? I'm doing so awesome.
They can't say anything bad about me. They
got nothing bad.
Not yet.
No.
Believe us, we want to, Junior.
Yes.
We want to say bad things.
And hey, as soon as Junior loses one game, his power ranking is going to drop like 6 spots. He's going to still be in first place. He'll have more points scored than anybody else, and he's going to be like 6th in the power rankings. So just watch it. It's coming, Junior. The next one, really, we'll just sit back and let you talk, Josh. The next one is Show Me Your TDs versus Joe Burr. You want to talk to us about what happened here?
I had some, well, I don't know. I wouldn't say they're bad plays. Like, I didn't play Miles Sanders. Instead I played Wilson from San Francisco, which is I probably should have done that. But the problem is, like, Najee, man, he #1 pick. He hasn't done anything really this year. Yeah. He's killing me. And then, the other one, obviously I'm not going to play, I wasn't going to play Goff. I did sneak Goff a couple weeks ago just because, the Lions had been playing well. They'd been doing some things on offense and everything. And so I picked him up, and it looks like it was a good pickup. Unfortunately, I didn't play him, obviously. I played Burrow. I mean, it's just it's ugly, man. This is an ugly year for me. Pitts hasn't done anything, I don't know why I keep trying to throw a flyer on Drake London because, I got to stop doing that. I mean,
he's had a couple, hasn't he? He's scored at least.
Yeah.
It's just not enough,
He has a little bit. But it's just season's just not going my way. Yeah, he's had a couple good games, I guess. Last week was his lowest, but I'm just kind of going through a couple of them. So
yeah,
it's a rough go, man.
You did get a little bit of news. I don't know if it's ever going to come to anything, but your guy you picked that had got shot, I think he's back on the practice field.
I did hear that. I've been holding on to him. I thought, you know what? Everybody says anytime I see anything on there, say, man, he looks good after being shot after a couple weeks. Yeah. I was like, I don't really know what that means,
Yeah.
So, and if we just turn the focus a little bit on Lee, he was one that after the first 2 weeks looked like that his season maybe was over, and he has resurrected it. I mean, I'll just say this to everybody, Danny included. We got 10 weeks left.
Yeah.
Anything could happen. So, Josh, how are you feeling about your team knowing you got 10 weeks left? Do you feel like that things are going to get better?
I don't feel good. I don't feel good about it. This is not. I like the team. When I picked them, I was pretty happy with what I had actually. When I first picked my team, I was the only thing I was a little bit worried about because I'm a defense guy, and as you can see, I have a whole bunch of defenses because I'm trying to figure that out right now. And like even last week, right? I go back to last week. Like nobody, I think Jacksonville smoked somebody and shut them out or something too.
Yeah.
And so
I mean,
those
defenses have played a big part. We've talked about this on 2 different weeks now, where a couple, people had -6 and somebody else gets, all they need is 10 to beat that position by 16.
Right.
That's,
with -6. That's me. I
Well,
yeah, that was
John,
you. Okay, I couldn't remember.
on the plus side, I think that Najee and Devontae are going to play better than they've played. I just got to believe that those guys are going to start putting up, better numbers at least than they did last week. You had a couple weeks there where if you started a different defense, you win. So I don't know. It's a long season. Like you said, there's plenty of star power on this team. We'll see what happens. I mean, Lee's turned his season around in just 2 weeks. It's still pretty early. But you don't want to mess around and find yourself 2 or 3 games out of the playoff spot. So no time like the present to get a W. So
I will say that I'm one of those guys that come Tuesday morning, you better believe I'm switching out that lineup and I'm ready to go for next week.
Okay. Ready to go for next week. Well, I think
you just brush it right off and move forward.
Do we play this week, Josh?
I don't know. I haven't looked at it. I just changed my lineup. I know my lineup is ready to go.
I believe it's us, and so that's a great chance for victory for you.
It is. Yeah.
I'm sure. I mean, if anybody could lay an egg, I've turned many a team season around.
I can imagine. Yeah. Well,
so and then last one we got Heim Time and me. And so, and my team, that was a bounce back for me. I lost 2 in a row after starting the season. Well, I scored 100 points the first 2 weeks, but I ran into Junior week 2, right? He's a buzzsaw. You can't do anything about that. I scored 100 and lost, but last week was a little down for me. He only scored 80. This week, bounced back, 110. Good scores out of really almost everybody. I got some running back decisions to make, and we knew that all season, right? Like who's going to be the people that show up, and I might take a flyer on Dobbins versus the Bengals and see what happens there. But I feel bad for Brian. I mean, I really do. Like that dude scores points every week. I mean, he would have beat how many teams? He would have beat 5 teams this week probably. And he ends up on the losing end again. He's 1-3, and his team is stacked. I mean, Chubb and Barkley and Clyde Zeller. Goodness gracious, you got Waddle in there. Like nobody wants to play him, but goodness, he just seems to play everybody at the worst possible time.
Yeah, I didn't know Waddle's. Well, he had one really good game, but he's the 4th ranked wide receiver right now.
Yeah. I think he's. Miami's. Who would have ever thought that Miami was going to have the top 2 of the top 5 wide receivers?
Yeah. Yeah, he is pretty stacked.
Yeah. So, but
you got to get those wins, or else none of those points are going to help.
Yeah, just like Travis, right? None of that matters. Him and Travis are. So if we just jump back in real quick and talk about the standings, okay? Well, which will lead us to talk a little bit about the power rankings. The standings, Dave, you love this. We got a perfect bell curve. We've got
beautiful
a team at 4-0 and a team at 0-4. We got 3 teams at 3-1, 3 teams at 1-3, and then stuck in the middle there, we got 4 teams at 2-2. Means that there's a whole lot of parity, a lot of not much separation between all that, but we do have one team that's obviously risen to the top and one team that's shown that he's got the most work to do between Junior and Danny, and everybody else kind of stuck there in the middle. So we were talking, you did a little bit of a preview for this week, just real short stuff.
Yeah, I haven't gotten around to it.
Brennan, is it Brennan? Who does Brennan play? Because you said that is it Brennan versus Travis?
Brennan has Travis, yes.
Yeah, and you're like, they're based on their lineups, you believe their record should be switched.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I
we
did
just
say
got
that,
some
didn't I?
we got some
They probably-
anomalies.
They
Yeah.
probably don't. Yeah, it's like if you just show me their lineups, and it's like which team's 1-3 and which team's 3-1, and if you show me like
Their
let me
scores.
see what's 3. Yeah, he scored. Well, I guess it's not like Brennan has scored
350 versus 320.
22, 30 more
Yeah,
points.
not
That's not even
as much.
That's not even 10 more
No.
a week.
I
So.
mean, and you're high on Brennan because he pays you, and I understand that. If it was Brian versus Travis, then we've got a little bit more because you got 440 almost 437 versus 320.
So hey, yeah, this could be another squeak by week that if
just keep racking. I mean, keep up for everybody. Keep racking up
and
those
he
wins.
catches, Brennan's trying to get the ball rolling, but he misses Jonathan Taylor, his number 1 pick this week. So
and somebody just dropped Hines, right? And so he's going to be. I'm sure there's going to be people fighting over him for
scooped up in the morning.
Well, fighting over him because Indy's ran the ball so well so far.
That's true. Yeah. Do you really? Yeah. I'll let the rest of you fight him.
Yeah, exactly. So standings, Junior, Rennie, Adam, Travis round out the top 4. That's crazy. Travis sitting there in 4th place, has scored only 320 points, and almost everybody but Danny above him in points scored, and so that's crazy, right? That he could be 3-1 in 4th place, but it is what it is. Brian sitting down there in 9th place, and has 437 points scored, but still 10 weeks to play. Nobody's out of this. We've got plenty of time.
And next week is when bye weeks start, so that changes everything.
Yeah.
We get one more week this week. Well, I don't think there's any buys. And then.
So I'll just run through the power rankings real quick. They shuffled up a little bit. Junior did not like the fact that I put Rennie on the cover photo for the power rankings, but he shot up the most. He shot up 3 spots. So we got Junior at 1.
Yeah, again, the way you did it, you didn't leave much room. His head wouldn't have fit because it's so big right now.
Junior's?
Yeah. So you had to put Rennie on there.
Yeah. So we got Junior. Off all weekend, double check, shoots up to number 2 with going 3-1, scored a lot of points last 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean that's why, I didn't have a reason not to put him up that high.
Bad beat for Adam, but still at 3-1. We tease him. He hasn't scored a ton of points, but he scored enough to remain like.
Yeah, and I thought long and hard about putting myself above, but he would have beat me this week, so I'm like, I can't put myself above him. And that whole thing that I think I mentioned either last week or the week before, that you get, he's got one more win than me, and not played that well. He probably will play well a little bit. Like, one of these weeks he's going to be in high points contention.
Once we get to the point where you really have to start pulling guys off waivers and like massaging your team because of buys, I have more faith in Adam than I do anybody else to pay attention and do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So he stays above me.
Yeah, he's 3, you're 4. Heim time, even though he's in 9th place, he's in 5th place in the power rankings because nobody wants to play him.
Yeah, he scores a bunch of points and his team's looks great on paper.
I'm in there at 6, right there in the middle. It's going to be a rough season because it's so up and down. We'll see what happens. Vote Flex quietly in there at 7, even though his scoring's not been great. You can't deny the wins. And then Ed at 8, he is falling fast. He's falling quicker than crypto, I said. So what else? What other analogies could we throw out there for Ed? What else falls fast? He is, we need some more cliches because Ed is
the Reds playoff hopes every year.
Yes, well,
if you're falling faster than the Reds playoff hopes, you're in bad shape. That's not a good place to be.
So Sundance Kid at number 9.
Yeah, he squeaked in there with that win, right?
Yep, squeaked in. Show me your TDs at number 10. And Josh, sorry, but
where's your?
I I looked for it, and I did not expect it to be
The-
there.
yeah,
all right? Expect it to
the,
be there. When you score 350 points on the season
Yeah.
in 4 games, you don't deserve to be in the top 10. That's
Yeah.
all there is to it, man.
Yeah.
I don't even want to be in there. But it
Yeah.
also has made me, I'm finding other things to do with my time now than fantasy football.
Hey, are you going to be like Danny here? Like come week 6, you're just going to have like all your weekends free again, and you don't even have to worry about it.
Yeah, I don't even have to worry about it anymore. I mean, it's like, hey, find a new hobby, Josh.
Yeah.
I know somebody that had a season like that last year.
Yeah.
But
And I, you know what I did? I created a podcast.
That's true. We had all season to talk about it.
Yeah.
And look at how well this has taken off. I'm pretty sure viewership is up.
Yeah, it's skyrocketing. Yeah.
It's gotta be up.
We've got corporate sponsors now with DraftKings.
Yeah.
So Dave started that OnlyFans account, so it's
It's doing well.
Yep. So, but
Can't wait. Yeah, I still can't wait till you guys get McAfee on here. It's gonna be awesome.
Oh, so all right. I think Dave's got he's got a game for you and me, Josh, to play. And here's the deal. I don't know anything about it, and you don't know anything about it. So
I stole this from Matthew Berry, but I really wanted a little bit more time, but I got home and my daughter asked me to go play tennis, so I went and played tennis, and but I did put a few together. Basically, what it is I'm going to give you player A and player B. I'm just going to give you some stats, and you guys have to pick which guy you want based on the stats. So first one is player A. It's a wide receiver so far this season. He's got 18 receptions for 266 yards and 1 touchdown.
Okay.
Player B, a wide receiver, has 18 receptions for 274 yards and a touchdown. So very similar, 32.6 total fantasy points to 33.4 fantasy points. Kind of a coin flip. Which guy do you want?
So I'm going to take the guy with less because I'm going to feel like that's probably the guy that's got more upside, and the player B probably is somebody I've never heard of.
I could probably plug player A or B on my team, and they would be better than my receivers now.
It's very possible.
I will take. I'll just take the opposite one of Kevin to make it fun.
Yeah.
Dave, those are pretty close, man.
So player A is Devontae Smith for the Eagles.
Okay.
And player B is Noah Brown for the Cowboys. So it's how they got those points that if you knew that information, you might pick a little different.
Noah Brown got all of his in 1 week, right?
No, the other way. And Brown's pretty much gotten about 5 every week.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
And Smith got all his in 1 week. He got like 20-some points.
But
he had 2 weeks, like a week with 0 and a week with 1.7. So that's where you're like, if you knew that going in, would you risk having a 0 and a 1.7 so you could get the 20? Or would you like to have Noah Brown where he's going to give you 5 or 6 points 4 weeks in a row?
Yeah, but what did he do? He did
get 1 week with 11.
The first week of the season, I think he caught a touchdown, and then
So it's the age-old, do you want the guy that is gonna, he's gonna give you points?
Well,
or the
we brought
0
this up,
and the
Josh,
20.
Josh brought this up, Waddle is super high, right? On the thing, but he had a week where he had 37 points or something. You know what I mean? And it was is that an anomaly, right?
So then as you're making your lineup, you're like, okay, maybe it's worth having the guy. If you knew you could get the guy 1 week for 20 points, then maybe one of your other guys just gets enough and you have a great week. But then, if it's the week with 0, then you got to have somebody else that gets that 20 points or else your team tanks.
So I like that question actually better than the way you originally put it. Would you go for the 5 every week?
Yeah.
Or 0, 0,
20
and then 0 again?
Yeah. And I think for all of us, it would depend on if it's our third wide receiver, I'll take the 0s with the chance at a 20. You know what I mean? But out of your number, for example, when Jefferson, who's not my number 1 wide receiver, when he went back-to-back weeks with nothing, that kills you.
Yeah, that's tough.
you're
especially when he's such a high draft pick.
Yeah, well, because you're expecting,
Yeah.
I don't need 30 out of him, but I need
10 minimum.
Yeah.
See, that's me. I'm the risk averse guy. I would take the 5. I would go, if you're gonna give me 5 every week, I'm gonna hope
between 5 and 10 is what Noah Brown's gotten,
Right. And then I'm gonna hope that maybe one of those times they get a touchdown on that too.
There
and
you
then
go.
10 or 11 instead of 5, right? Like that's my thought process.
All right, next one.
Yep.
Quarterback A is currently averaging 28.4 points per week. Quarterback B is averaging 18.3 points per week. Which guy you want on your team?
Well, I'll take quarterback A because I want those points.
Quarterback A.
Well, Josh, you have quarterback A because he is Jared Goff, and Russell Wilson is quarterback B. Would you,
right now I'd take Jared Goff over Russell Wilson.
But would you actually start him? That's the problem, because most people, like you, have somebody else that's you feel like Burrow has upside, so those points just sit on your bench. Whereas, having Russell Wilson, it's like you'd think he's going to do better than he does, but he did. He had a good week this week, and that's the only reason he's got 18 point whatever, because he had one good week.
Yeah. I would, if I had Russell Wilson and Goff on my team, I would play Goff right now.
Okay.
I just think the offense is clicking better, right? I mean, like, he's got weapons, and they're just not. I mean,
so
it's like Matthew Stafford. I mean, how not that Danny pays attention to his team, but sooner or later, like, you got to move off of Stafford, don't you?
Well, and you don't play him against the 49ers. If
but
you have any
look
other,
at it, go back and look.
He had Brady and Stafford.
Yeah, but go back and look at his. I mean, he's only had one double-digit point score this season. 4 weeks, he's been atrocious.
Yeah, and you got, he had, not to pick on Danny, but he had Brady and he had Mike Evans coming back, so you had to think that things were going to pick up for Brady. But
I mean, anyway, maybe don't expect he's going to score 45, but
the whole point of the Goff Wilson is name recognition. Because who got drafted higher? Obviously, Wilson got drafted higher because of name recognition and the potential that comes with that. All right, next one is some last year stats. This guy last year had 1,800 rushing yards and 18 touchdowns, player A. Player B had 1,200 rushing yards and 8 rushing touchdowns.
Wow. So I'm guessing player B is some big name that dudded.
It got hurt, maybe, or something like that. That'd be the only reason that I would.
Yeah.
But
is player B Christian McCaffrey?
No.
I feel like I need more. I'd like to have more information, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. So like last year's stats, for one, don't matter. Other than they help pick, decide who got picked. And Josh, or somebody, Brennan picked. Brennan picked Taylor, Jonathan Taylor.
That was player A.
He had 1,800 yards and 18 touchdowns last year. Nick Chubb, who's our current number one running back, only had 1,200 because he missed a few games.
Right.
And he also has Kareem Hunt on his team, so that takes away a little bit of yards. But this year he's dominating and having a bunch of yards and a bunch of touchdowns. And, so last year's stats, they help us decide our draft a lot of times. But, that's where the first round, pretty much 1 through 8 running backs, you could end up at number 1. You don't know who. And if you happen to, I don't even think Chubb was, I think he was picked in the second round probably.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Somebody asked, and we don't have the time to do the research right now. I'm sure Adam could, but they were just asking, like, is that the worst bust of, like, so far first round draft picks?
Jonathan Taylor?
Yeah, and it's probably not, because I think some guys got hurt like in week 1 or 2, right? And you don't even have them like for the whole rest of the season. It sounds like Taylor's going to come back and play, and you got to think that he'll score points. Like, he's going to be usable, serviceable, but like, if you talked about a guy who's going to play the majority of the snaps and then he's still going to average like what he's been averaging, I mean, it's a pretty bad. It has not gone well for Brennan.
When you take into consideration injuries, right? Like you had McCaffrey last year, or is that right?
David.
David. Who had McCaffrey?
David. I had somebody that went out like.
No, early. I thought you picked him last year when he got hurt. I had him 2 seasons ago, I think.
Did I?
Surely I didn't pick McCaffrey 2 years in a row, did I?
I can't remember. Yeah,
Well,
I did.
maybe
I
I
lost
did.
somebody. I lost somebody.
I probably
really early
did.
on.
Yeah.
I lost my first round draft pick early on.
But like you said, that's a little bit different, right? When a guy gets injured, but you're
Yeah.
just flat out saying, "Hey, this guy's actually played, and he
And
was
still a bust.
And you're
Yeah.
feeling that with
He-
Harris, being
Yeah.
your first round pick. How do you not play him?
I at least think he'd be, you would at least think he'd be a consistent, 100-yard kind of running back. And
Well,
then,
and the funny thing is, like, you would think going into the season, you're like, okay, no Big Ben. They're going to concentrate more on the run, right? They're going to run the ball more, and like, still nothing.
no, it's terrible.
Yeah, and it doesn't
I-
help that Pittsburgh's just bad.
Well, yeah, it's two things I think that I've learned this year. One, I don't like the Steelers either. I think Kevin, you said this, like you just don't like them. Neither do I. Like, and two, I don't even like running backs in the first round. I don't even know what I was thinking. I just was there. I got
Yeah. You get caught up in the draft position
caught up.
rankings and
Yeah.
I got caught up in
a
everything.
couple
Well,
more
and
real quick.
that's why I didn't mind being pick 8, because I didn't have any pressure to feel like I had to pick a running back, and I went wide receiver. And honestly, I wish that Jefferson would have played better week 2 and 3, but given like the whole having Hill and Jefferson and what they've done through 4 weeks,
Yeah.
I'll take that over.
Yeah.
If I would have if let's say my first 2 picks, I would have had Najee and Brennan. If I would have had Taylor, those 2 guys, like, I'll take the production I've gotten out of wide receivers. Now my running backs are iffy, but like they've been serviceable. They've gotten like, they haven't been like zeros.
Yeah.
So it is tough. Like, I feel like running backs are either feast or famine.
Yeah.
A couple more real quick.
Yep.
This running back A has no 100 rushing weeks yet. He has 1 week where he got 0 rushing yards, and he's only gotten 8 carries during one of the 4 weeks. And player B averages 15 carries a week. He's on a team that's 3-1, and his last 2 weeks has been his best 2 weeks.
Unless it's player B.
It's screaming trick question, isn't it?
Is player 1 play for the Packers?
No.
No? Okay.
So which one is it? Obviously, you want the guy that gets more touches, right?
Yeah, you would think.
And on the good team.
But you'd be wrong because of the stats. So player A is Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who has a bunch of receiving yards and receiving touchdowns.
Yeah.
He's just not getting it all through rushing. And player B is Ezekiel Elliott, who's currently the 30th ranked player, because with those 15 carries a week, he gets no yards, and he's only scored like once, I think. So.
Well, I was thinking like, and I forgot about Helaire, because I think he had one down week too, right? Like 1 week where he just didn't do that great. I mean, he's
had 3 pretty good weeks, and he's got really a ton of touchdowns.
But that's the same with Travis's Jones, right?
Aaron Jones, yeah.
Where like week 1, man, he barely touched the ball, and even the coach was like, "Oh, we just kind of, I don't know what happened, kind of forgot about him." Like, and I benefited from that. But then, like, from now on, it's like, man, they're just feeding him the football. So yeah, like, and that's what I said. Like, man, we tease Travis all the time. Don't you think that Brian Heim would love to have a flex spot, be able to play all 3 of those running backs at the same time?
Yeah, that's exactly why I don't like it, because then you don't have to choose,
Yeah,
and you don't lose out on points because you chose wrong, and it just makes everybody score more points. Somebody else has that same ability, and they might have 3 running backs better than you. So what's the matter?
And like 10 years ago, it was like, if you had the choice of flex, you were putting in another running back because they just like the consistency of touching the football. But you also weren't drafting wide receivers in the first round. I just think fantasy football has changed so much. Like, if you had a flex spot, how many people would actually plug a running back into that 3rd spot, or how many people would, maybe a tight end. Tight ends get used more now than they ever did before, but like, I just feel like that the running back spot's devalued so much over the last 15 years that like, give me 3 wide receivers.
Yeah. All right, the last one, just to pick on you two. Player A has been started by his manager 4 weeks now, all 4 weeks. He's never even gotten 9 points, and he has no TDs. Player B is a first-round pick by one of our managers. Has 1 TD, but he hasn't reached even 11 points yet.
So player A is on my team.
He is on your team,
and he plays for the Kansas City Chiefs.
He does. He does do that.
and everybody Adam praised me for picking him and thought, oh, he's going to be the second coming, and he's done nothing.
One of these weeks he's going to get more, at least 9 points.
He's going to pop. He will.
And then obviously who's player B? We've already talked about him on your team, Josh.
Was it Najee
Harris? Najee has not even reached 11 points yet in a week. That's pretty bad.
Hey, they're both Steelers.
Hey.
Yep.
Juju and Najee.
That's why
we hate them so much.
That's why we don't pick Steelers, Kevin.
Oh, yeah.
That's why we.
All right, we better look into next week before we get away too much time away.
Well, yeah, we're always nobody complains that we go long except for the fact that Josh has to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah, us and our bedtimes.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah. So where are we at here? Yeah, week 5. All right.
The matchup of the week.
Let's talk about the matchup of the week.
Yeah.
All right. Red Kingdom.
Who makes this schedule anyway?
Red Kingdom versus the Rat Trappers.
That's not the one I was thinking.
No. That we'll get to the other one.
Okay.
For me, this is if you watch the X-Men, this is like Magneto versus Professor X. You know what I mean? Like in our fantasy football league, these are the two. I'm not talking about the two jokers. We'll get to them later. This is the two powerhouses in our fantasy football league going head to head. Good Dave versus evil Adam, right?
Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, is that what you're trying to say?
Level of fantasy football knowledge between these two guys. It's gonna come down to coaching.
So the current ESPN projections are a little off because my kicker's I have to replace him because he's hurt.
Yeah.
So that won't happen till tomorrow. So
I will say that Adam's projection has turned for the better because a week ago he wasn't projected to score very high.
Well, I mean, he had to start some people. Now the only thing that I have going for me is he's got 2 really good Detroit running backs on his team, and so maybe they both play. And maybe the one he doesn't start does the best. That would be the only thing I have going for me because he gets Kamara back, who hasn't been great, but he's great.
Yeah.
He should be great. So he gets, like last week he had to start. He picked up a guy and started him.
Yep.
And so that that's tough.
And Adam's got to know. He's the Yankees. He's the Tom Brady Patriots. Like, we hate on him because he's good all the time. We don't, he wins. And, I mean, no real hate at him.
Yeah.
Just,
And I'm not real thrilled that McCaffrey is going up against the 49ers D and Carolina offense just already looks horrible and Baker sucks.
Well, Dave, because he's 3-1 and you're 2-2 and because he's Adam, I'm rooting for you, okay?
Woohoo! I don't know that helps because you rooted for yourself last year.
I rooted for Adam last week and he lost, and I root for you this week and you're probably going to lose.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I'm not.
All right,
no side bets. Okay. We'll skip ahead. We'll go to the other premier matchup.
Yeah.
Like if your matchup's Thursday night football, this one's Sunday night football.
Yeah.
Okay.
And really, this matchup is bad for all of us.
Yeah.
Because none of us can win because this matchup. Because if Rennie wins and he's 4-1 and he's on a roll, like how are we going to catch? Either
one of them.
And if Junior wins 5-0, we're all screwed. And if he's 4-1 with 1 loss, it's like either way, like we can't win on this. Only one of these guys can.
Yeah. So Rennie and man, could it be any cooler that it's 50 win probability 50%, 50%?
Yeah.
They're both projected to score 103 points, and we got Rennie's going with Trevor Lawrence. It looks like he's benched A-Rod.
Yeah, he posted something about. I haven't looked, but he said posted something about changing up his lineup.
Yeah, he's got.
Hold on, really quick. What did you ever think you would see the day, both quarterbacks healthy, that someone would start Trevor Lawrence over Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you look at the way the season's going. You look who they're playing, and you got Rodgers has been so frustrated with his wide receivers. Yeah, I mean,
maybe Rennie said, "Hey, you know what? This AARP garbage. I'm going with the young guy. He's gonna have Rennie. You're gonna listen to this Thursday morning. I know you are. You're gonna have to change your team name though if you're gonna roll with Goldilocks. Okay.
Goldilocks.
Sunshine.
Yeah.
But it is a dangerous thing though, because the heat that you take when Rodgers scores 30 and Lawrence lays an egg is
yeah. It's a gamble, but I think Rennie's comfortable with that. I think he does that quite a bit. So we've got Vote Flex versus a Sundance. We already previewed this one, 3-1 versus 1-3. Dave in the write-up says these guys should have each other's records. We'll see. Brendan gets a chance to prove that he's legit. If he loses here and Vote Flex goes to 4-1, like that's almost, real close to securing a playoff spot for him. He's getting, he's on his way there.
And honestly, it could be a blessing in disguise to sit Taylor a week. And Kareem Hunt could easily score a couple touchdowns and do what, Taylor's been giving him not much. So I don't think that's going to be what would keep him from winning.
Yeah. And so we'll go to our next matchup. If Lee's looking to turn his season around, and he's already been doing it the last 2 weeks, then he gets a little pep in his step by facing Danny. So, Danny, I'm pulling for you because Lee's tied at 2-2 with me and Dave, and we would like anybody possible that's tied with us to lose. So we're pulling for you, but I just don't see it happening. So I don't know where Danny's points are going to come from.
He doesn't know.
Yeah, he doesn't know either. I will say this is the week that Heim Time Industries gets things rolling. He is going to score over 100 points, and the Lumberjacks are not. So that's my prediction for week 5 that Brian gets off the schneid and just Ed's free fall continues. Yeah. Tom Petty, he's going to.
If Ed wasn't already free falling, he loses his best running back, and he was already hurting at running back. Yeah. And so now he's going to have to pick up somebody or play somebody that's not going to get him any points.
And then, what's even the chances that he even checks to see that these guys aren't playing?
That's true.
So let's be real.
At 0-4, Danny, there's pretty slim chance.
Yeah.
And, a 4-0 Danny.
Yeah.
Maybe. An 0-4 Danny.
What's it called in soccer? Relegation? Is that it?
Relegation? Yeah.
Do we have that? Is there a fantasy
really
league
close to being relegated? The only problem is we don't have
league that's trying to get into ours, like the best player, and then we.
Do you want me to start a minor league? We need to start a minor league fantasy.
Because he's dangerously close to relegation with more of these seasons where things don't go right.
So, and then the last, certainly not least, we've got the Smithereens versus Joe Burr. We've got Sunday night football action. Man, it's going to be exciting. And so are you rolling with Burrow?
That's got to be a high scoring game, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I am rolling with Burrow. I'm going to go with him. Baltimore's defense isn't very good this year. Their offense is really good, but their defense is not really good. And so I'm rolling with him. Goff is playing at New England. I don't like that.
You feel like Belichick still knows how to take away a team's strengths.
Yeah. So I forgot this, Dave. Is there a path for you to beat Adam if Baltimore scores no points? I just
no. If Lamar gets under 20 or under 15.
Okay, so I take it back. I'm rooting for Adam. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm really hoping Baltimore.
Wouldn't a 50-49
no
Bengals victory be awesome?
A 50-0 victory would be awesome.
I don't see that happening, but
so
you know.
Yeah, we'll me and Josh, we'll see what happens. We both need wins. Like nobody. I mean, Josh needs it because he wants to try to eke back and get to 500. And I need it because nobody wants to be having a losing record. So
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's it. I wanted to ask you guys. So, are you familiar with the memes that I was sending out today? Have you seen these before?
I've seen the concept.
Yes.
So you didn't make one for Junior, did you?
Well, I'm wait. Like I put up.
He's a 10, but he's a 10.
Here's the thing that everybody needs to know. All right. I'm fueled by affirmation. So the more people talk about the things that I do, the more that I'll do. I put out like 7 and nobody said anything. So it's like
I don't even know how you do. Like, how do you put something over top of something? And I don't.
It's a phone app, Dave. It's called Canva. Okay, you can download it. I've
never heard of it.
You're
making
alter
that up.
images.
That sounds made up.
Yeah, it's made up. Yeah.
Canva. I don't know her.
I was thinking for me it would be like he's a 10, but his defense is a -6.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I'll make one up for you, Josh. I promise. We'll get that in the books. That's really good. I like it. So, but no, like these are if you're really old and you don't know, but these are like memes that are out there, like when they're like this person's a 10, but then they put their fault. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So they're not really a 10 because you know what I mean. They're a 10. He's a 10, but he lives with his mom, right? So it's like that's the thing that makes it. So he's attractive, but he's not really a 10 because he lives with his mom. So then I put a bunch together of our football teams. I thought they were funny. They didn't get a whole lot of traction on here. But I loved yours, Dave. You're a 10, but you can't keep it up. So it was alluding to your inconsistency in this season being 2-2. But some
I still
weeks,
think it's
5 points.
Again, I've only gotten beat by the top 2 teams. What am I supposed to do?
What, score more points?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
And now I got to beat the number 3 team.
Yeah.
Tough draws.
By the way, that guy, I mean, from afar, like when you zoom in, it doesn't look as much. But the picture that Brennan shared today, like from afar, like just your stance and everything, like it's like, oh yeah, definitely kind of looks like Kevin. Yeah, when you zoom in, not so much, but that was good. I like that.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. And then your brother-in-law had to suffer through watching the Reds tonight.
Oh, brutal.
That's
if I would have went to that game, it would have been like I would have spent like $70 on beer because they're $16 a piece, and then watch the Reds lose. That's
maybe he was hoping to get the truck. Joey Votto, he's gonna buy somebody the Tundra out there.
Yeah.
You hear this last night?
Really?
No, I didn't.
He said. Yeah, technically you have to hit the truck, I think, right?
Right. Yeah.
And Votto said, as long as you are, I think from the middle 404 or whatever, I think is the distance at center field. He said, as long as you're from the 404 to the right, as long as the home run goes to the right side of the ballpark, I will buy that person the Tundra.
Really?
And I don't know how close it got because it's a certain inning or something, right?
As much as I didn't really want to see him get hurt and have to have surgery, having him up in the booth talking and stuff, that's been incredible.
And hopefully he does it for a long time. Like, wouldn't it be cool? I think it would be cool. I mean, he's an interesting guy.
Yeah. He's great. I mean, especially when there's nothing to talk about on the field. Like, he finds things to talk.
He does. He's good. I enjoy hearing him.
I wish the Mannings would have him on.
Yeah.
They should.
That would be something.
So did you hear that this guy that got tackled is suing the Rams?
of all the hot coffee McDonald's lawsuit kind of things, I mean, my goodness.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, I'm sure he already got tackled by what's the Rams player's name? He got tackled by.
I don't know, but yeah, he got a couple guys, and it's like what he had, and it wasn't just running. He had like that smoke thing. They don't know what that is. It could be a bomb. Could be.
Yeah. Did you listen to McAfee talking about it today?
No.
Oh, it's so funny. He's like just cracking up about it.
You give up all your rights when you run on a field like that.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to. Like, there's no Bobby Wagner, right? That's who it was. Yeah. So he's going to sue Bobby Wagner because he's breaking the law by running out on the field, and he got burned. Yeah, because you're carrying a freaking smoke bomb. You know what I mean?
Like you have no, like, that just is. I hope that gets thrown out quicker than anything.
Yeah. So anyway, well, Josh, are you still having fun with the fantasy football?
Oh, I thought you meant tonight. No,
well, yes. Yeah, I know you're having fun tonight. This is a blast.
Yeah, this is great. But no, fantasy football, I don't know, man. This is a tough season.
You know what would make it better? Get a win.
Yeah, a win.
Get you a win over this guy.
Hey, listen, Dave, who you rooting for on Sunday? You rooting for me, your co-host, or Ratty?
Well, didn't you? You're the one that brought up anybody that's close to you in record. You want them to go down a notch.
Oh, so you're pulling.
It's strictly business. It's nothing to do with personal.
Dave, let's do it like this. Kevin, you'll have to tell your stats, but I'll tell mine. So, Dave, would you rather have Team A, who has 1 win and 3 losses and approximately 350 total points on the year, or Team B, Kevin? Do you have your stats really quick?
Yeah, I have 2 wins and 403 total points scored. So,
there you go. Which team would you rather have, Dave?
So you're due.
Yes.
That's what the numbers tell me.
You're like, he's not injured, he's just limping along. Like, that's me.
You're ready for something to go right.
Josh, I would love for you in week 6 to turn your season around. So, and so Dave, I was going to ask you real quick before we get off here. Is this lame excuse of a write-up what we can expect every week, or is this just like a temporary thing? Are you going to do like
no, it was just a placeholder.
Okay, so you're going
to I don't even know my own lineup yet because I don't have a kicker. So it's like, how do I predict anything and talk about anything until Well, it doesn't help that I was
Brendan never bid on it. I kept on telling him that he needed to invite us all over to his place because the Broncos are playing the Colts tomorrow night, and then his running back versus his quarterback. But his running back's hurt and his quarterback sucks, so I'm figuring we're not getting an invite over to Brendan's house tomorrow night. So
now I'll flush it out more, but I kind of thought that less is more.
Well, they were funny
because I didn't have to say much to say a lot.
Yeah.
I just kind of,
So, Josh, do you get on and read? Well, you weren't involved in them this week, so my apologies. But do you get on and read the power rankings too? Like, so are you paying attention to all that stuff?
Believe me, I keep up with all the messages. I keep up with all the power rankings. I laugh. I love it. I need to. I probably need to comment a little bit more, just especially, understanding your love language now, Kevin. Your
words of affirmation. Yeah.
He posts something, and then if 5 minutes go by, he's in a fetal position with his thumb in his mouth, like, nobody loves me.
Well, nobody thinks I'm as funny as I think I'm funny. You know what I'm saying? It's a hard thing.
We think you're funny too, Kevin. We need to make sure that we tell you about it. So we'll make sure we do that quicker.
Yeah.
But I do keep up with all that stuff. I love reading it. You know what? I knew that I wasn't on there this week, and this week I actually didn't read them because I was like, you know what, guys? I don't even care anymore. My team's
a good way to get back on the top 10?
And then and then, you know what? I'll read everybody's. I won't even just read mine. I'll read everybody's. I need a blowout. I need a big week. The nice thing about being off the chart is if you're 11 or 12, all you really have to do, if you put up decent points, you probably work your way back in, right?
Yeah, because there's some teams that are on there that suck. So
Right.
Yeah, there's
exactly.
some teams working their way down.
yes,
Like,
yeah.
to get
It won't
to
take much for Ed to take your spot.
to get to 10, it's like, you score like 110, 120 points, you're probably at number 10 at least,
Yes.
And so it's like, oh, I'm right back in this thing.
Yeah. You know who is listening to everything that we're putting out and who's reading everything right now? Junior. So enjoy your time at the top, Junior. It's got to be like the clock's got to be ticking on it. I got to feel like that loss is just waiting. Rennie would love to dethrone. I think we'll all be popping champagne. I think if Rennie wins, he should take us all to the tavern. That's what I think.
I think if he wins, there may have to be a guest speaker.
Well, wait,
Like
hey,
that.
Rennie, if you get the W and you'd be available, we would love to book you on the show next week. We would love to have you share about how you dethroned Junior. That would be epic. Viewership will definitely go up.
On the power rankings, I think it was week 2 when I said that I wouldn't drop Adam until he lost one.
Yeah.
So he lost one, and so he dropped just one spot. But
no, he stayed the same. In yours, in your personal.
Yeah, in mine, yeah.
Yes.
But for Travis, until he has a week where he scores more than me, I'm not going to put him above me, no matter how many wins he has.
No matter how many wins. Travis is going to end the season like 13-1, and he's going to be like 9th in the power.
I'm going to be above him until he has a week where he scores more points than me.
Yeah. All right, guys, it's been fun. Thanks so much for being on, and we'll catch you later. See ya.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Take it easy. See you guys.
Yeah.